We had to fight to get a meal. Yeah, wrongfully accused. We had to fight to get appeals. That's why we right to get a deal. He on the team, he gotta eat, you know, despite your skills. Keep it riding for the fam. You gotta light the wheels straight up.
On this edition of I Am Athlete Specials, Black History Month, Black Excellence, off the platform, I Am Black, we celebrate Derek Fleming, the managing partner, the developer. I like how you say it, not Red Rooster, Rooster. That's when you know you got a brand, when you're like, Red Rooster?
Red Rooster. Yep.
Rooster.
Yep.
I love it. I feel like it's extremely important for us to have these conversations during Black History Month. And the reality is, not only during Black History Month, but continuing this conversation. We have a platform called I Am Black, where we want to celebrate Black excellence. I love what Kanye said. Okay, I get it, Black History Month, but what about Black Future Month? And so, Derek Fleming, we're here, Red Rooster, and a lot of people know Red Rooster from Harlem, but we're in Miami, we're in overtime. And so, you know, thank you so much for giving us this opportunity to not only shoot here, but also learn. When I reached out to you, I said, look, I would love to shoot I Am Athlete out of Red Rooster, Miami. I love the vibe. And you immediately start telling me about the culture. You said, Brandon, do you not know who used to come together in this building? So I want to start there. Talk to me about the history of this building and where we're at.
This is a very special place. It's actually a very special community. You know, Overtown is really one of the most important neighborhoods in Miami. This neighborhood used to have all the medical, the doctor's offices, the banks, the restaurants, the hotels, every amenity and facility that a robust community would need, Overtown had, and it was prosperous until there was a highway thrown in the middle of it, and it just devastated the community. So Overtown was just like a very magical, it's just amazing opportunity to go back into that history where Aretha Franklin and Count Basie and Muhammad Ali used to walk Little Broadway, this block right here, and the Lyric Theater, which is right across the street from us, used to host all of the amazing artists, Duke Ellington and Lena Horne. They would come over across the street to this building and hang out 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, shoot pool, play cards, listen to music, perform. And it was just a very, very special place. And unfortunately, as the community was devastated, there were only a few buildings that were left. Some of the churches and this one building. And so had the opportunity as a developer to bring back some of that energy, and it's just, it was just a great opportunity.
Where are you from, and how did you get into development? Like, when you think about I Am Athlete and the platform that we're building right now, we have a lot of conversations with athletes, entertainers, and this platform, I Am Black, the goal is to highlight Black excellence. And for me, the reason why that's important, because like where I grew up in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, it was the poorest county in all of Pennsylvania. My father was a drug dealer. My father, that highway that you talked about, used to run drugs from 95 all the way down to Miami.
Yeah.
And there's some classic stories about my father and my mother on the highway. And so I feel like a lot of us, when we see our way out, we see rapping, we see shooting the ball, catching the ball. We also see hustling. And I think it's extremely important in this time that we're in to show Black excellence in other spaces. And so I'm curious, man, like I didn't grow up in a neighborhood where we seen developments. I didn't know what when you say development, that word, that was foreign to me up until 5 years ago. Like, how'd you get into development?
I was born in Compton, California, right? So, born in Compton, my parents were 17, 18 when they had me.
Right.
I was witness to all of the classic sort of character traits of, an economically marginalized community that was disenfranchised, but also grew up in a very solid, robust, working class family. It was really not until I got to college that I was exposed to the power of development, right? And so growing up in Compton and seeing, what resources weren't there, what amenities, like what does this neighborhood look like as opposed to other neighborhoods that I had, sort of been witness to. And the idea that real estate and development can really impact and change all of that, right? The power of that that light bulb didn't go off until I got to college and, took, business and economic development, all stuff as a major. My first job out of college was for a real estate firm, working in Bayview Hunters Point, redeveloping that historic African-American community in San Francisco. Then went from there to Harlem and revitalizing Harlem in the South Bronx. All that stuff at the 125th Street in Harlem in the South Bronx, those were my developments. I went to New Orleans post-Katrina and helped, revitalize the Lower Ninth Ward after that situation. So that just became my thing, man.
So let me ask you this question. What's the difference between revitalizing and gentrification?
Revitalizing is about replenishment. Gentrification is about extracting. So when people talk about neighborhoods like Overtown and the idea of gentrification, this building, which used to be a pool hall, which used to host Black excellence and talent, and Muhammad Ali and Aretha used to walk these floors, these rooms. I'm trying to pour back into that. I'm trying to create the next generation of that through this platform. Now, gentrification says we don't really care who's in here, and it doesn't necessarily add the cultural value of what was there. It's like about replenishment. How do you pour back in what was there? This neighborhood was thriving.
I feel like we're in this space now where we want to celebrate Black excellence, but I also feel like we're missing maybe a few leaders that can tell us how to do it, right? Someone that says, look, follow me. I want to be able to break down sit down and break bread with Antoine Walker, J.R. Smith, and all the other athletes and entertainers and figure out, like, how do we revitalize our communities? But, like, what do we do? So, like, someone, an OG in the game, someone who's done it, and going back and seeing different generations and eras, what can we do?
A lot of it is about collective action and collective vision. There's a lot of us that have been privileged. We've been lucky enough to go to great schools and get education and have.
Interesting.
Oh, we have. We've been given some information.
I just say it's interesting because when you throw around the word privilege, you think about, like, that's a word that Caucasians, white people, are afraid of. But as an athlete, sitting down with my wife and people close to me, they say, "You're privileged."
You are.
Right?
You're very privileged.
Yeah. Right.
And the folks
as
that
a
you
Black
roll
man.
with, absolutely. But because of the relationships you have, the rooms you walk into, the phone numbers that you can pick up and like that access comes from a privileged place. If you took 10 people that and said, wow, there's this Black community, historic community in Overtown, and it used to have all these different businesses, and gosh, I know 20 people who are fashion, media, sports, entertainment, right?
Preach. Go ahead.
You could then create a syndicate. You could create a business that could literally not only fund, but build and sustain an entire community. Just you. Right. That is your access.
Right.
That is the excellence that we have, that our ancestors set us up for, and that you worked hard to be able to have the resources to pour into.
Preach.
And so that's the power, man.
In Overtime, like, I come down to this block Overtime, right? I mean, Red Rooster, because I want to talk about Red Rooster. Like, what is Red Rooster? What's the inspiration of it? You go from Compton to Harlem. Now you guys come down to Miami. You could have went anywhere else in the world. When I come down here, I'm coming down here and on this block because of Red Rooster. Does that scare you that you guys are the first to come down and say, look, we're going to plant our flag in the ground and say we're going to be about revitalizing this neighborhood that was so rich in tradition, so rich in culture?
Absolutely. You know, I mean, you know, Rooster is we sit on shoulders, right? This is not me being the first of anything. Like, there was a lot of stuff here before me, before us, that was incredible and amazing. I follow behind that, and I'm just trying to really set my mark to elevate the culture in my own way. And that's what Rooster is about. Rooster is about just like, how do we take the Pan-African American experience and elevate it just like everyone else's? So you should be able to come here, listen to incredible music, see world-class African American art where you got Derek Adams and Mickaleen Thomas and Sanford Biggers on the walls, but also you can listen to a little bit of reggae, some soul music, some gospel on Sunday, but it's all about us. And it celebrates our excellence, right? But everybody's welcome.
Last thing, and like, just tell me, Red Rooster, like, what makes Red Rooster special before we in this I Am Athlete Black History special, I Am Black? I'm talking when I come in, what the experience, the food, the taste.
Well,
give me a little bit of that.
What makes Red Rooster special, man, is that it's a very unique place where you're going to get amazing food that really does span a spectrum of the Pan-African experience, from the Latin, the Caribbean, the Southern, all of that coming together in a place that aesthetically celebrates it. The music is always going to be coming through.
Yep.
That gives you that.
That's a big deal.
And you will always feel like you're at home.
Right.
It always has to feel like it's family.
Yeah.
And I think it's just about like celebrating the culture, man. And that's all it is. The best of us, our excellence. And that's Rooster.
Well, listen, man, I appreciate you. I wish we had more time to really, and we will have more time. Because like, you open your doors for me, and to me, that is it, right? Where I hit you up and you said, tell me a little bit more about what you're doing. I told you what I was doing. I told you my mission, my why. And you said, come on up. I got you. So I thank you for that.
Of course. And this is home, man. You're welcome. This is you.
So thank you so much.
Thank you, brother.
And we celebrate you.
Thank you, man.
Respect.
Yeah.
Love it.
Love it. Yeah.
It's good.